Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the In-Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. Today I'm doing the new arrival video, first 2021. It is a brand new year, and because of the new year, it is a relatively slow release week. Although I did get a ton of audiophile restocks. Probably the last amount of restocks I'm going to get for a while from Sam Records. The Miles Davis 10-inch I showed you guys a week ago. Beautiful, all analog, replicated artwork from the original 10-inch, just like it originally was. Yeah, it's fantastic. One of my favorite Sam releases. And then I've got the two Bird releases back in. It's the only thing that they even have left right now in stock. So they're getting ready to move offices. So that was the last thing I could get out of France before the move. Okay, a couple of solid classical releases from Analog Productions. These are titles that have been out of print probably a good amount of time, and they're kind of considered some of the best living stereo titles of all time. Alexander Gibson, Faust. You know, original disc, maybe $1,000, probably the second most desirable living stereo title ever released. Respighi, Pines of Rome. You know, these are all Taz list, top-rated audiophile records. I don't show too much classical, but the stuff that is back in is really kind of the creme de la creme of the classical titles. Also Sprach Zahustra, Reiner. Got a reel-to-reel of this that sounds absolutely fantastic. The very first reel-to-reel that Living Stereo ever put out on 2-track tape was actually this title. Listened to it the other day. And one of my absolute favorite classical titles of all time, Witch's Brew. Very, very killer sounding record, well put together. Got a great pictures of exhibitions on there. Great recording of it. Really fun record. Another record that is, you know, $500-600 if you can find an original. All right, brand new from Analog Productions is Bill Evans, live at the Montreux Jazz Festival. Now, this is the 45 RPM version. They have done it at 33, but that is on 45. Aaron Neville. This was actually done by ORG some time ago. Long out of print, goes for well over $100. But yeah, Analog Productions did it. Haven't got a chance to listen to it yet. From the top 100, or excuse me, the top 10 in-print R&B and blues records you should own. Son House, father of the folk blues. This is the 33 RPM version. Been out of that for a while. Just in time for the new year, I guess. The Wonderful Sounds of Christmas. This was a title that was next to impossible to keep in stock the last 2 months. But I'm sure I'll have that now for the foreseeable future. One of my absolute favorite titles, Roy Orbison's Crying. Unbelievable analog record. If you have not heard Roy Orbison on audiophile vinyl, you should give this a try. It's spectacular. Duke Ellington, Blues in Orbit. This is a 33 RPM. Fantastic release. We're kind of getting into the new 180 grams. So Analog Productions announced a while back that they were eliminating 200 gram audio vinyl and they were switching to 180 gram. And you can kind of tell now they have that little silver sticker. It's going to sound 100% exactly the same. I don't think anybody on the face of the earth can tell the difference between the 100 and 200 gram vinyl. But they say it has a lot less, it's easier to manufacture. You get less defective records that way. This is an absolute must. The Best of Sam Cooke. I think this is close to going out of print as well. This has been around for a while. But yeah, fantastic record, double, a lot of hits. The biggest two releases. One, Norah Jones, Come Away With Me. Now this is on the, you know, my top 100 imprint analog records you should own. This is a weird one because this one was out of print for like maybe 3 years, 4 years. going for maybe 250 bucks. One of the best sounding records I own. Absolutely fantastic. Another fresh restock from Analog Productions, The Doors, LA Woman. I think this feels like it doesn't have the sticker and it still feels like it's 200 grams. So get that before it's out. This is a label that I started carrying that I get asked for all the time. This is Waxworks. They do a lot of original motion picture scores and some soundtracks, but a lot of scores. So I got the trilogy from Unbreakable, Split, in glass. Now here is the MGM Child's Play soundtrack. The artwork they do is, I mean, absolutely fantastic. A lot of people collect Waxworks just for the artwork. Escape from New York. It's on green vinyl. And The Fog. John Carpenter. This is on, what is that? Just says colored vinyl. Looks like it's white by the sticker on the back. So this is a title that was heavily allocated months and months and months ago. This is the indie exclusive for My Morning Jacket, The Waterfall 2 with the metallic cover. I got very few of these things in, and then all of a sudden they popped in today. Another title, Black Sabbath, Dehumanizer. This is actually a Rocktober title from like 2 to 3 years ago. It was a while back, maybe 2 years ago. These were going for $100 and a quarter a little while back. But yeah, it looks like they just made some more. Ace of Base, Happy Nation with I Saw the Sign and All That She Wants. This was right around the time when I discovered the radio. Had a cassette deck, and yeah, this was on the radio nonstop. This was a big album, but on vinyl. And this is, what is this? Maybe a follow-up. 1995. This came out. But yeah, some Ace of Base on vinyl. This is a soundtrack. Seatbelts, Cowboy Bebop. This is the Swordfish 2 and Red Tail edition, pressed on red and purple marble vinyl. I have no idea what this is. It registered, yeah, it's a soundtrack. Soundtrack to a movie I have not seen. The Viagra Boys, Welfare Jazz. Something else, I have no idea what it is, but it's considered the hot title of this week. The Neo Morricone, The Big Gun Down. This is another label that I get asked for all the time. Another soundtrack label, Mondo. So I picked up a chunk of releases from Mondo. This is actually a pretty cool release. The Big Lebowski. Love the artwork on that. And Live, Die, Repeat. This is actually called The Edge of Tomorrow in the US. This was one of those movies that I went to see when it came out. Somebody, friend of mine's like, let's go see it. I didn't even see a preview of it. I remember leaving the theater thinking, my God, why don't they do more good movies like this rather than the same old tired remakes and crap that comes out in the theater? But this was actually, movie-wise, in my opinion, one of the last great movies I saw. The Avengers, Infinity War. And, you know, the Marvel movies are becoming forgettable at this point. Another title on Mondo. This is a triple disc. All right. We have very cool artwork. Back to the Future. This is the original score. This is not the soundtrack. Actually, hold on a second. What does it say here? Oh, never mind. It says also available, the original score, Back to the Future Part 2 and Part 3. This is actually music from the motion picture. So yeah, Huey Lewis in the News, Lindsey Buckingham. This is the soundtrack, or similar to the original soundtrack. Danny Elfman's Mission Impossible. Danny Elfman would be my wife's absolute favorite composer. And she collects all of the Danny Elfman soundtracks. Tangerine Dream, Thief, another Mondo release. Cool die-cut cover. El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. Breaking Bad, a TV show that I have not seen. I'm probably the only one. Everybody tells me it's the greatest show of all time. But a buddy of mine recommended I see Lost. He told me how great it was. I got hooked. I'm like 2 or 3 seasons in. And ever since he told me how great that was, and then it got to the ending, which was absolutely atrocious, he was the one who recommended me Breaking Bad. And it's after that bogus Lost recommendation, that's probably the reason I haven't watched it. Although everybody tells me, no, that's not the case. It's not Lost. It's actually quite good. Terminator Dark Fate. I actually have liked the last couple of Terminator movies. Probably alone there because they didn't do too well in the theater, but movie-wise, I thought they were good. Hans Zimmer. This is Mission Impossible 2. And everyone loves Goblin. Soundtrack, The Church. Cool. Metallic gold foil cover. But yeah, that is it for the new arrivals this week. I think next week is going to be a massively large new arrival week. I've got a ton of stuff on the way. But I got to say, as a whole, the week before and after Christmas, because of the New Year's, is the hardest week to get. Nobody slates a new arrival for, new release for this couple of weeks. So typically it's going to be stuff like this. It's going to be restocks. It's going to be, this is the kind of stuff you're going to get before and right after Christmas. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check out our Facebook and Instagram page where I post sometimes a couple of days early from this video when I get stuff in stock. Until next time.